Welcome everybody to today's session. This is going to be a good one. We got Angel Funes coming. We're going to be talking about this idea of mentoring and the gap that we currently see in the CX world with that. So, Angel, thanks so much for joining. How are you? Tell us a little bit about your background before we jump in here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. It's been exhausting this last weeks, but all positive stuff.
Yeah,
Um
yeah. You better say. I mean, this guy is a world traveler. Every time I talk to him, he's in. If it's not Vegas, he's in Berlin. If it's not Berlin, I don't know how you do it. Where are you right now? Where are you right now?
right now in Berlin, but heading to DR next week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
the
been
travel is
fun.
really fun, right? So you're traveling often for pleasure or fun or for work?
Mostly for work, I have to say, but I also, kind of mix it. But yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you took a minute. Yeah, tell us a little bit about some of the fun things you've been up to.
Yeah. A little bit of background as well of like who I am and what I'm doing right now, but what I've done as well. I started in CX when I was 17, working in a call center, very traditional. Moved there into leadership and work in different places under the CX space. And eventually moved to marketing, which now I'm doing. It's I'm head of marketing also in Horatio. So as a side as well, I'm building this platform, which is Mentor CX. It's
Hmm.
been a year and a half almost building that.
Wow,
It's been a while.
that's a lot. Yeah, good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you. Now, tell us just a
Yeah.
little bit about Mentor CX before we kind of dive in. What does that mean, or what is the platform?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Customer experience mentorship platform, specifically for CX only. So that's a place where you're gonna have mentors like CX leaders or founders with like a CX background as well that are ready to help other people, either business owners that care about CX or CX people that want to grow in the space as well. Like if you're a lead, you want to move into a manager role or a director role, yeah, it's just a community where you can get guidance from people who've been there.
It's awesome, man. That is such a cool idea. I think as you and I were chatting, I just feel like so many people right now are feeling like there's a lot going on and they don't always have the answers. And so being able to kind of find potentially a resource like this, I just think is super important. Would love to kind of dive into that a little bit more. So, yeah, let's dive into mentorship a little bit. I mean, what do you feel like is the real cost of not having strong mentorship within CX today? I mean, you're around this all the time. How are people kind of navigating that without having mentors?
Yeah, that's really hard. I have to say that CX is just evolving so fast, it's changing. The scope of CX is changing a lot. So there's not a lot of playbooks. They're being written right now by CX leaders, that's they're shaping this change, especially with like the new Gen I coming in.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Those conversations as well with executives where it's like, okay, how is CX actually connected to revenue, not just like a cost center, not just the front line being support and just support. And this, like, I heard it in Support Driven's conference, this sentiment around CX leaders, that just support. Philip Mesquet said that. I pronounce his name very German.
That's the
But
Berlin.
Philip,
That's okay.
so he had this slide with just support, and everyone, it resonated with the whole audience, because that's the evolution of changing everyone's mindset from, yeah, that's what it was a long time ago, or what people thought it was. Not even what it was. It's just more like what people believed it was, right? So, with that said, having a mentor who can help you guide your journey towards how you contribute, what can you do, sometimes to even communicate. Kenji from Front also just released the translator, CX translator, which is like, this is what I'm doing. And then, it's people in CX have had a hard time um, talking about how that impacts a business. And
Yeah.
it's not that you don't, it's just like, instead of saying this, say this. And it's really the same thing, but here you're telling the executives, this is how we're affecting revenue. This is how
Oh,
we're affecting
oh,
CAC. This is how we're affecting on TV. Yeah, it's super interesting.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that is still such a problem, the to being able to communicate effectively with the executives. But I like some of those points. I think that's right. I think as I meant, we're talking to a lot of people who are just feeling like they're they need more support because the world is changing so much. And so how do we do it differently than we've done before? And I think doing that on your own sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge. What do you feel like are some of the misconceptions? I mean, people I think sometimes want to do mentorship or they want to be a mentee. But what are some of those common misconceptions about mentorship, both on the mentor and mentee side that you see just kind of having kind of built this platform?
Yeah. I would say sometimes it's very specific, which to be honest, the platform allows that. Like it encourages coaching as well. You know, it's
Hmm.
something very specific, very tactical, very like, okay, I'm stuck in this specifically. Can you help me out with this? So yeah, I mean, you can book different mentors for specific things, specific tools or skills. But
Yeah.
mentorship, we also, which we're building now, is a dedicated feature. We still haven't released that, but it's you book 5 calls with different people and then you connect with someone
Hmm.
and wanting to nurture that relationship in a more consistent way, a bit more not structure, but just more like flowing with that relationship and guiding you towards a more of a growth journey and not just something like, okay, get better communications, more like, yeah, how do I become a director, right? Like walk me through your experience and I share with you what's going on. So I would say just like the difference between coaching and mentorship being mixed.
Okay.
Um, and then just like I would say sometimes for mentors, I've heard as well where it's like, okay, the time commitment. Sometimes it's not that long. And believe me, the impact that you can do in 30 minutes or in an hour a week, it's huge. It's
Huge,
it's
right?
really
Yeah.
rewarding as well. I'm also a mentor. Like I volunteer for free in a marketing platform.
Hmm.
And it's just rewarding as well. It's yeah, just knowing that those 30 minutes, someone is waiting the whole week, knowing I'm gonna meet with this person for half an hour and this is what I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk about. And just being able to get that, it doesn't take that much time as you would say that, oh, I need to prepare and this. Sometimes you just share your journey or your experience and it's very natural and it's super helpful. So
That's
that
fascinating. I
time
love that.
constraint that people believe, yeah.
I love that. That is something you're like, man, if I gotta sign up for a mentor, it's gonna take 30 hours a week. And to your
Yeah,
point, like,
exactly.
no, that's not the case. It can actually be pretty short, but also pretty impactful. What do you hit on a couple themes, but what do you think are some of the things that are most talked about in these types of conversations? Is it kind of you teased a little bit about like a career growth, for example? Is it mostly story? Like, what are some of the things that are pretty informal? Walk us through what that sometimes looks like, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So definitely career growth. Sometimes it's because like it's funny. I used to be a filmmaker, by the way. So that's
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
of things. So
I can
uh,
attest to that. Some of his marketing stuff is very creative, and he's got some fun video things as well. But so I sorry, keep going.
thank you. Thanks. And yeah, like this background, like sometimes people see my profile and they're like very interested in the journey, right? Because maybe they're like wanting to know how the transition was, or how I use those skills into the marketing.
Yeah.
So right now I've been talking a lot to Toby from Popular Progress, for example, about mer like aligning CX and marketing. That's something that I'll talk about probably in a few months, where I'm creating this framework. But like, this mix of skills, I would say like sometimes people are more curious about, which is why it makes it personal, right? It's not just like, how do I do this in customer, can you help me set up this automation? But also like your journey and just understanding how you got there and how can they get there with their background and their own skills. That's something that I see a lot more than what I would think. It's like I think most of the calls have been a lot of my personal journey and how I got there and how I use my
Cool.
skills to
Yeah.
operate. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think that's right. I mean, I think people want to know how others have basically managed whatever it might be that's coming at them. And again, a lot of people are feeling like they might be alone, or sometimes we're not communicating as much as we'd like, but to understand and see someone else's journey as they've navigated whatever it might be, or marketing or, leadership. I think that adds a ton of value to these kind of emerging CX professionals. With that said, how do you I think a lot of people aren't aware that things and tools like this exist. How do you think that some of these younger or emerging CX professionals can find or start to get on this path with potential mentors?
Yeah, I would say number one, to be honest, like see what are the resources. When I say resources in this case, I'm talking about teammates in
Yeah.
your company internally. Who in your
Hmm.
company is someone you look up to that you would love to have a mentorship with? I used to do that all the time, and it was great. Like I would just reach out to someone. Would you mind being my mentor? Can we do like weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, whatever their availability was, and try to do that in a current way. So just reach out to people inside your company, I would say. Then, of course, we are building this, like we built Mentor CX for that purpose, right? Like, I was not seeing that being done often. Plus, you get a lot of like a bigger pool, different industries, experts from different mindsets as well, because maybe there's a little bit of bias inside the company. You just want to kind of see different opinions. So yeah, feel free. I know that we're and customer, like people watching this, like you're getting some free coupons, some free memberships for Mentor CX as well. So and if anything, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, say you saw this, and I can definitely hook you up with a membership.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, look, I think there's multiple areas. Yeah, find those people around you, but a platform like this, obviously, I think can kind of expedite some of that as well. On the flip side, same comment. There are people out there who are more senior or more tenured, and potentially are more open to kind of facilitate some type of mentor mentee relationship. Where do you typically advise those people to start their kind of mentorship journey?
Yeah, when someone reaches out in the company, say yes, start mentoring.
Yeah, be open. I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. Fair.
Yeah. And yeah, again, like you're invited to apply to become a mentor in Mentor CX as well. You can post socials like LinkedIn as well. I've seen people doing it as like just posting about it, like I want to give some of my time back. And if you are interested in having a mentorship, just DM me. So, expose yourself, like really just remind people that they're not alone and that you're there. You're one of those resources that is given some time and is available to help them, just guide them to the next step of their journey.
I love that. Yeah, look, I think their first comment really resonates. It you'd be surprised, I think, how little opportunities do present themselves, whether it is internal or external. And I think sometimes your first inclination is I'm too busy, but this that idea of be open, that I think really starts you down that path, and then other doors start to open up. So I like that. I think that's great advice. Um,
Yeah.
so much going on in this space, and as we kind of wrap the session, I mean, you see it from so many different angles. You kind of have the mentor CX angle. You obviously are part of a great company, Horatio, and what some of the things you guys are doing there, with helping companies scale their CX organizations. Then you've also got kind of the marketing hat, where you kind of see the world of marketing and CX, which in so many ways is merging in a lot of different brands and companies. Just curious, as you think about the audience, that's attending today, a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed with all the changes and so much new information, and all the trying to navigate the ever-changing world that's going on. Any piece of advice or pieces of advice that you'd kind of leave with the audience to help them just to continue to try to be successful as, CX leaders?
Yeah. Just remember you're not alone. Like the world is changing and we're all part of this world. And a lot of people have had just more experiences. So lean towards people that you met in conferences, teammates, friends that have a shared path with you or that have been there.
Totally.
Um, yeah, just remember you're not alone, really. Like just seek for help. talk, ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out, really.
Yeah, look, I
Yeah.
think that's probably more important than ever. I was talking to some people, and yeah, look, in some companies budgets are cut, and so getting to physical events isn't as easy. And so I know some people are feeling like, man, they're just heads down. They're being asked to do a lot more with less, whether that's less tools, less money. And so it's hard to like take a step back and be like, hey, I'm not the first one who's gone through this, whether it's LinkedIn, reaching out to people, following people, networking, finding a program like this, like a mentor thing. I really think that's strong advice right now. Like none of us have all the answers, and there is a lot changing. And so it's better to learn together rather than just, try to figure it out yourself. So I appreciate that. I think that's super helpful. So, all right. Well, hey, really appreciate you taking the time today, Engel. I think that's been such valuable advice as we kind of navigate a lot of these changes. So appreciate you taking the time. And for the audience, have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.